So you got a letter in the mail from OSHA. It's a complaint. What do you do now? Let's talk about it. All right, so OSHA is required to investigate all complaints. Now, often this is coming from a disgruntled employee, or maybe just an employee that has concerns about your company but doesn't feel comfortable bringing it to your attention, or maybe they've even brought it to your attention and you've kind of swept it under the rug. So when OSHA gets a complaint, they are required to investigate it. They have to find out what happened. This can mean that they come on site and they investigate on site, but oftentimes one of the options that they choose is just to send a complaint letter to the employee. This is called a find and fix letter, and there's a few things you need to know. Number one, when you get this letter, the minute you receive it, the clock starts ticking. You have 5 days to respond in writing to this letter. So you want to make sure that as soon as you get it, you get to work on it and you get it done. You want to get this response done as fast as possible, but you don't want to rush it to where you don't get good information. You want to make sure that it's thorough. You want to do it quickly, do it right away, but make sure you have time to review it before you send it in. It's kind of like a rough draft for school. You don't want to just send in the rough draft. You want to make sure you've checked it to make sure you've got everything that they're asking for. Now, when they send this letter, they're going to detail specific concerns, specific complaints that they have, and it could be around anything. So I'm going to just pick an example and kind of use that as we thread through this story, all right? So let's say we get a complaint that our forklift drivers are not certified to operate the equipment. Okay, this should be a pretty clear-cut case. Yes, they're certified. No, they're not certified. And what we want to do is respond to OSHA as quick as possible. We are going to have all the documentation we can have to show them. So if we have a written powered industrial truck program, we're going to include that. If we have training records for all of our employees, the roster, the quiz, the practical application, the certificates, the wallet cards, any documentation we have to show our training, we're going to include that. Pictures. If we have specific complaints about different areas, maybe they say that the forklift is speeding through the warehouse area. We would like to show some pictures of the area and maybe some mirrors that we have up, or maybe some warning signs or speed signs or different things that you've done to protect employees from that hazard. So the idea here is we're going to provide as much documentation as we can, because if we don't give them enough documentation, they're just going to come in and look for themselves. So it doesn't help to just give vague general statements. You want to be very specific about the problem they're asking about. So we're giving documentation, we're giving training records, we're giving pictures if needed, and we're giving all this in a timely manner within 5 days. Now, the last piece of this puzzle, you have to be honest, all right? I shouldn't even have to say this, but don't make it up on the spot. If you don't have something in place, tell them that you are gonna get it in place and then make a plan to get it in place. So as an example, let's say that you have 70% of your people trained, but you have a group of operators that currently aren't trained. You're gonna say that we have training that's scheduled for next month on this day, on this time with this company to come in and train our operators. That way you can clearly identify, look, this is a valid complaint, but we have corrective actions in process to fix this problem. And I would even say, look, we're not going to allow anyone to drive until they've been certified, so that they understand that you're taking it serious. OSHA officers want to know that you are taking them serious, that you're respecting them, and that you're keeping your people safe. So just to recap, if you get this letter, read it thoroughly. Read it thoroughly. Make sure you know that the time clock starts ticking. You got 5 days to get back to them. You want to get back to them in writing. Personally, I always recommend making a phone call as soon as you get the letter. That way you can communicate. You're talking with a person. You say, hey, I just received this letter. I wanted you guys to know I got it. I'm getting on top of it right now. I'm going to have your response by the end of Thursday or whatever. That way that you have built a connection and you're telling them, I got it, I'm serious, I'm taking it serious, I'm working on it. The goal of the response of this is to make sure that they get all the information they need so they don't have to come on site. That saves them time, right? They'll be happy because they got enough problems to worry about. They don't want to come on site because you didn't give them enough information. The second thing is make sure that you're clear about the information. Proofread it, send it to somebody else outside of safety that you count on. And what I mean by that is you might have your HR manager review it. You might have your plant manager review it. Just kind of look over it before you finally send it. So with that in mind, until we talk again, do everything you can to keep people at work safe, because no one should get hurt at work.